you know what, the skies in your photos doesn't always have to be boring. Even on a flat day, it doesn't have to look blah, you know what I'm saying? My name is David Johnson, and in this video, I'm gonna be showing you a couple ways that you can make your photos and your skies specifically pop in your images, just based on a couple different hacks that I've discovered along 15 years of being a professional landscape photographer. So one of those is going to be in camera, one of those is going to be in post-processing, because both are part of the photography process. So here's tip number one. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys here. I did a ChatGPT search just to get some more ideas, maybe something there was missing on the in-camera, in-field process of making those skies look dynamic and exciting. And it suggested using a circular polarizer or polarizing filter to photograph the sky. And look, I've had varying experiences with that. I personally don't recommend doing that. The problem with using a polarizer is, yes, does it kind of like saturate the blues? Does it add a little bit more contrast to the sky versus cloud? Sure, but you can do that in processing too. The problem with this is that when you put another piece of glass in front of your lens, sometimes it can create image flare or lens flare because you just have another surface of glass in front of your camera. Not highly recommended here. The filter that I found does a much better job is actually an ND filter. Now I've been using a OM System OM1 Mark II, not sponsored by them, but if you want to check that camera out, it's down below in the video description. This actually has built-in ND filters that you can use live in the field, that you don't have to actually put a filter on the end of your lens. It actually creates the effect in camera, which I have absolutely loved. Now, if you don't have one of these, if your camera doesn't have features like that, what you can do is use a filter system. Now I have two different filter systems here that I like to use. One of them that I highly prefer is a magnetic filter system, and all these are little filters with magnets on the end of them. I'll get to why an ND filter in just a second, but I want to show you the different options. So magnetic filter right here, it just, you know, it's a magnet. It goes on the end of your lens, clips in, clips out. Really easy, no spinning or anything like that required. Now, the other one that I have been using, the only reason I haven't been using these is because there's no like specific thread adapter that I've found that I really like. And it's annoying buying a lot of these because they're super expensive. Now, I have been using the Nisi filters, the ND filters, and they're your classic ND filters that are like giant squares that are basically just like sunglasses for your lens, like that. One of the things that I like about using ND filters, and the reason that I prefer them over circular polarizers, is that ND filters can lengthen your exposure, and even if it just is a lengthened exposure of, let's say, 10 seconds or 5 seconds or 2 seconds, the light can change and vary so much in just a 2-second span that we as humans can't actually realize in our naked eyes. So when you have something like an ND filter, you might get colors and different textures and patterns in the clouds that you normally wouldn't be able to see with your actual eyes. That's one of the reasons that I've liked using the in-camera ND filters in here, is because I can set it to like, I don't know, a 10-stop difference in my camera and create long exposures over, 5 minutes, I believe is the last one I did, that created this wild photo in Iceland that I was able to see. And I didn't even realize that these colors were happening. It was a great experience of using this. And now late in the day or early in the morning, I always use the ND feature or an ND filter on my camera just to kind of pick up some of those colors that I might not be seeing with my naked eye. Now, the problem with this is if you have any moving grass or flowers or foliage or trees around you, that's also going to show up as movement. One of the workarounds to get around that is taking one frame without the ND filter and one frame with the ND filter, and then blending those together in Photoshop. Now, more on the processing side, only in Lightroom. We're not gonna dabble in Photoshop today, so you don't have to get all worried about going into Photoshop. This is a pretty easy system. Now, the Photoshop, Lightroom, the in-field process, it's all linked together. And if you want to find a proven system that is actually gonna link all of these things together and help you out a ton with your photography, help you see your potential as a photographer, and stop coming away from shoots feeling like you missed the moment, enroll in Landscape Photography University. We have over 15 courses and live Q&As weekly that you're gonna get access to. That is in the video description. It's on sale now for a limited time, so check that out if you want. On to Lightroom. Don't be scared, it's gonna be easy. Let's travel to Iceland, shall we? We're gonna look at this photo, and here's an example of a photo that may look, well, flat. It's kind of boring, gray skies, and this is kind of what I thought when I was out there. Now, there was a tinge of color in the sky, there was excitement in the air, and I thought, why not throw the ND filter on and see what I pick up here? It's a 50-second exposure. This is almost a minute long of exposure, and you can see how it really blurs out the motion of that water and creates a lot of cool texture on the black sand beach with a lot of contrast going on. Now, we're talking about skies specifically here. I'm not gonna touch anything else except for the sky, and you can see what will happen here. So I'm gonna go to my masking. All I have to do, is select sky. Masking has actually gotten a lot better in the past several years in Lightroom and does a great job selecting all this out. Here's our mask of the sky, and it may not look like much if you're unfamiliar using masks. Again, we go through all of this in Landscape Photography University, teach you the easiest ways to use these masks. That is linked in the video description and in the pinned comment, but all that's white in the sky is what is going to be edited in the photo. Everything that's black is not going to be edited. So you can see in this photo, we pretty much have just the sky selected here, and you can be pretty aggressive with masking. So what I'm gonna do is come down to the highlights and whites. I'm gonna deselect show overlay so we can actually see what's going on with the mask, and I'm gonna scroll down on my highlights so you can see what that does. Now again, we can be pretty aggressive with these masks, and it's not gonna do a whole lot. You see that it didn't do a ton in here with any ghosting or anything on the actual photo. I'm gonna come to my whites next, and as I pull down on my whites, you can see a lot of texture and things going on in this. I can actually increase my contrast, increase the texture of those skies, decrease the exposure pretty significantly, and now I have a really dark skies and that tinge of little light in the back. Now, just in these couple of edits, these adjustments, we don't have a fake looking sky. We don't have an obvious mask that you can see. But if I go to just the before and after here, look at the difference that that makes. So you don't always have to have boring skies in your photos, right? I think the best part about this is we're just scratching the surface on masking with this one trick. And chances are, if you can click your mouse 4 times to do this exact same thing to your photo, you can absolutely tackle this technique and add it to your photos. It's not a hard thing to do. Now, here's the finished photo that I created after adding all of the edits that I wanted to this photo. Doesn't look too different than what we actually did in this tutorial to help you make your skies pop in your photography like that. The ND filter is like sunglasses for your lens, and the post-processing masking for your sky is like leveling up your photos like you never thought possible. Using both together makes your photos look pro every single time. And it's not even that hard to do, guys. Let's be serious. If you guys want more videos like this, definitely subscribe to the channel, enroll in LPU today, and also click this video right here if you want another tutorial that's gonna help out your photography just as much as this one did.